Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Are you at the stage in your business where money is rolling in and you are inundated with clients? If
Are
you
you?
are, then you're in the peak phase of your business.
Well done. And that's
Yeah.
an amazing stage because if you guys remember, we spoke about the limbo that takes like around between like a few months to 2 years, and then the startup between 3 to 10. So if it took you even less than all of that and you
Well
got
done.
to the peak of, so well done. Like, I would
Yes.
do like,
Exactly, because the peak is where you want to be, but like with everything, when you're in the beginning part, you're doing a lot of introspection, you're doing the research, and now when you're getting to the peak, the problem with the peak is you get a little bit cocky, a little bit complacent, a little bit arrogant, and that can be self-sabotaging, actually, because you become a little bit cocky about it, and everything that goes up must come down. Unfortunately.
It is, and I think like people like need to remember like you work hard to get to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop it. It never
Yes.
stop. And it's the same thing like even like when I look at marketing, like branding for example, it's an ongoing thing. It's something that never ends.
Never
it's
be
something
complacent.
that you always need to work on. So keep it up. Like you at a peak, you are at a place that people are chasing after you. That's amazing. Maybe it will give you now an idea to change. And there was like, for example, some like a lot of people that what they do, they find themselves like now they've got so many clients and they don't know what to do with it. So what they start doing is like sharing more information, like online for free. They're creating online courses in a way that's what they do, and then they start selling it, and by that reaching to more people and finding their time. So you're never giving up. Like you're always like doing more stuff and adding more stuff to your business. And I don't think you never actually get to the peak.
No, I think
because like there's always more to go to.
Yeah, but I think in the peak, what it means is that you've gone from a research point to going to just sort of starting out where you're just literally trying to really get the clients in to a point where they're coming to you and you're making good money. The problem is with the peak, or the challenge is with the peak, is you need to know when to walk away because nothing lasts forever. It doesn't. And there's a stage where you've got to go, okay, I'm at my peak now. And I'll give you an example. So I've recently talking to the ex-owner or founder of Sorbet. And he's now started a new business. And I think it was about 2 years ago that he sold Sorbet. And I mean, as you all know, that's a huge, huge franchise, a huge company. And he just seems to know, this was the sixth company that he started, and he just seems to know when to sell, and he always sells in the peak, which means he obviously gets a good payout for the company that he sells. Exactly. Yeah. So the peak is important. When do you leave? And then you're going to go back into, you're going to go to the end phase, which will be the final phase, and then when do you go back into the cycle of the limbo again? Mm-hmm. So the peak is amazing, but there's a lot of arrogance and complacency, I think, that can happen around that time.
It is, and I think that's why, like, you need to keep reminding yourself, like, maybe even go back in a way to limbo stage, do a bit of a research planning, and see where you want to take your business, to where to take your business now. If you want to take it to maybe like a different angle, maybe like the survey, like sell it and go to something else.
Yeah.
Maybe adding more stuff for your business, maybe expanding, maybe becoming from like a local business to a global business. Like there's a lot of things to do. So I'm saying like when you get to the peak, don't look at it as like, okay, I'm done now, I can be relaxed and that's it.
And celebrate and enjoy the ride. You've worked incredibly hard to get to this point. It could have been 1 year and it could have been 7 years to get to this point. Ian
enjoy the fruits.
From Sorbet was saying that on average it's taken him 5 years with every single business to reach incredible success and to reap the rewards from that. So you've worked so hard to get to this point. So if you're at the peak, absolutely enjoy it, celebrate it, and enjoy the fruits of your labor,
Yeah, and it's going to build you for the long run because you can take it like in different directions, and that's the beauty of it. Because when we start a business, we're not sure, like we have like a vision in our mind, but things are changing as per the market and stuff like that. So even when you get to the peak and you think, I actually want to do more. I actually want to contribute more. Or maybe even just take it on the side of like, I'm going to volunteer now more because I've got like the time to give back.
You've got the money. Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff you can do. Maybe you will decide that, like I want to enjoy it and like travel more overseas, whatever. Keep on working on that business. Because if you're going to stop and you're going to be disrespectful for things, you're gonna actually lose clients and stuff like that because they will think, oh, like now you became so cocky, it's like overcharging or whatever. And I don't really want to work with a person like that. So don't get to that. Always remind yourself, why have you started a business? Why are you doing what you're doing? If you always remind yourself the why, you will always stay focused on what's your main goal, and you're gonna go with that, and people will see it. Because like I think what happens for a lot of people, they actually became like cocky, and they're like overcharging and arrogant, and like the egos. They're like, oh, no, I can get clients like so easily. So if they want, they can pay. No, it doesn't work like that.
They think they're indestructible. They think that nobody's going to become in.
I know, the market is changing all the time. Yeah. Market is always changing. There's always new technologies. There's always new marketing platforms. There's always new things to do. Like even today, like, if I was actually looking, because I was actually chatting about it yesterday, when I actually did my BA, Facebook just started. When I did my BA, there was no Facebook. When I did my MBA, Facebook was just in the beginning, and now you've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, like all of that. So there are so many changes and develops in the market. So you always need to keep yourself up to date and get more stuff, and don't get
don't get complacent. And one of the examples that I wanted to share was Tasha's. I don't know if you're familiar with Tasha's, but it's a very, very, very popular franchise restaurant. I think it is franchise, but it's big. And the one in Constantia is always packed. I mean, literally you have to wait for a table. And I had a situation where, because I go quite frequently, they always have the same salad, and this seemed particularly small. And I just quietly said to the waitress, oh, this seems a little bit smaller than normal. And that was it. Next minute, she comes back with like a double portion. She said, no, you're a regular. I'm sorry you weren't happy. Here you go. And I thought, wow, they don't need me. They've got people like waiting at the door. And yet they were mindful enough to think, you are one person we don't want to lose, because one becomes two becomes, and that blew me away. The fact that I felt
that's
valued.
How service needs to be. Sorry, enough.
Yes.
That's how service needs to be. Because you always need to work on maintaining the good service.
But you still appreciate it. You still do appreciate it,
Because you also need to remind yourself how long it took you and how much effort and time and money you spent in getting these clients, getting that recognition.
Don't take it for granted.
So don't take it for granted. You can lose it in a second. Why do it for yourself? You don't want to lose it. And remind it to yourself, how much you do. And you know what? You did so nicely. You're at the peak. Share that knowledge. Help other people get to where you are now, and do it. Yep. So don't say that, and you will grow on a personal level and on a business level as well. And again, it's your repetition as a company where you want to take it. Don't try to look like as the type of company that now that they're successful, they don't care about the customers or clients, and they give a bad service or whatever. Yeah. That's how you build. You build a relationship with them for the long run. You want them to stay with you, to remember you, to be with you. So don't let being at the peak destroy you.
Exactly. So just to summarize, the peak, it's about great success, great rewards. Victories. And in next week, we're going to talk about the end. So the key is then to know when to walk away, and when to know that the peak has now reached its peak and it's time to end and go to the end phase.
So if you know in which stage you are,
share
it with us. Yes, write in the comment below which stage are you. And if you like a content, just give us a like and share it, and follow us and subscribe. So
we love personal stories, so please share.
Yes. So have an awesome week.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.